4 teenagers, a massive rainstorm, flickering power. It is the exact environment where boredom usually leads to a search for entertainment. For Ethan, Sarah, Lily, and our narrator, the night began with a simple walk through an old house. Hidden away in Sarah's grandmother's attic, they uncovered an antique mirror. It was unusually tall, framed in heavy black wood, and the surface of the glass was heavily scarred with deep, ancient-looking scratches. The object carried a warning that had been physically carved into its history. On the back of the wooden frame were 3 jagged words: "She follows home." They treated the discovery like a prop for social media. At exact midnight, they hauled the mirror into the bathroom, lit a circle of candles, and began recording. In the flickering darkness, they spoke the name Bloody Mary 3 times. The group stood in the silence of the bathroom, waiting for a punchline. By treating the ritual as a harmless internet challenge, they had fulfilled every specific requirement of the legend without a single thought for the outcome. The air in the bathroom instantly dropped to freezing temperatures. Before anyone could react, every candle went out at once, leaving the room in absolute darkness. From the corner of the room, they heard a slow, wet sound, the rhythm of someone breathing nearby. A sharp crack split the air as a long fracture spread across the center of the mirror's glass. Sarah fumbled for the light switch. When the bathroom illuminated, the figure was gone. The breathing had stopped, but Ethan had vanished, leaving his phone recording on the floor. The phone's camera had captured his final moments. In the footage, Ethan is visible standing inside the reflection. He is pressing his hands against the glass from the other side, while a woman with long black hair walks toward him through the dark void. The physics of the glass had changed. The mirror no longer bounced light back into the room. It functioned as a physical opening, allowing something to pull Ethan through the surface. By the next morning, Sarah was gone as well. There were no signs of a struggle in her room, only the evidence left in the bathroom. The sink was stained red, and the words "one left" were smeared across the glass. Lily and the narrator immediately carried the antique mirror out of the house. They believed that by removing the object, they could isolate the threat and stop the abductions. But when they grabbed the frame, the image in the glass changed. Ethan and Sarah appeared inside, pounding on the surface. Their mouths were moving, and though no sound came through, their faces were contorted in a desperate warning. Then the woman materialized between them. Her skin was split around her mouth, her eyes were solid white, and the words "Look at me" were carved into her forehead. She stood motionless, watching the 2 survivors in the yard. Smashing the glass is a natural human response to a physical threat. But when dealing with an entity that occupies the reflection itself, the mirror is merely the point of contact, not the source of the power. Lily swung a hammer, shattering the antique mirror into fragments. In that same second, every other reflective surface in the house, the windows, the television, the phones, all cracked in the same pattern. The destruction didn't end the encounter. The hallway lights failed, and the sound of wet footprints began to spread across the hardwood floor. A soft voice whispered, "You opened the door." The entity appeared directly behind Lily. A pale hand touched Lily's shoulder, and her skin instantly began to change. Her flesh hardened into a smooth, reflective surface, with deep glass-like fractures spreading rapidly across her arm and face. Lily's body bent backward and shattered into thousands of pieces. Inside every single fragment on the floor, her face was still visible, trapped in a silent, continuous scream. The boundary was no longer limited to a single piece of antique furniture. The reflective state was spreading, pulling the real world into the same fractured existence as the victims. The narrator began hearing hundreds of overlapping voices whispering inside their head. Ethan's voice rose above the others, pleading, "She keeps us in the glass." Bloody Mary tilted her head, her neck bones snapping with the movement. She smiled, her jaw distending, as black liquid spilled from her mouth. Then she stepped to the side, clearing the path. The mirror on the wall smoothed over, revealing a massive, decaying architecture. Generations of victims stood silently in the dark. Children, adults, and figures in ancient clothing, all motionless, all staring back into the house. Bloody Mary watched the doorway. Her role was not to lead, but to serve. She had been the mechanism used to unlatch the door, making room for whatever lived deeper in the void. This diagram shows the relationship between these surfaces. When every mirror in the house cracked simultaneously, it revealed that these are not isolated objects. They are tiny windows built into a single massive dimensional wall that spans our entire world. Behind the glass wall, something moved. A gigantic figure shifted beneath the black ocean of the reflection world, its body composed of the millions of faces it had collected over centuries. Every reflection in the house shattered inward. A massive, faceted appendage made of black glass pushed through the broken threshold, reaching into the hallway and pulling the air itself into the darkness. The voices inside the narrator's head spoke one last time. She was only the first thing that saw us. Every reflective surface humanity builds is merely an observation window for a predator that has been waiting for the door to open.